Hello students, today I am going to explain you the fourth poem of your textbook Hornbill. The name of the poem is Childhood by Marcus Netton. Introduction of the poem. Childhood is written by Marcus Netton. In this poem, the poet thinks over his lost childhood. He wonders about the moment where he lost the innocence and realized that the world is not what he seemed it to be. He recalls when his thoughts changed and he realized the hypocrisy of the people around him. He finally settled down to the idea that his childhood went to some forgotten place and is hidden in the face of an innocent infant. Summary of the poem. In the poem, the poet wonders when he lost his childhood and the innocence he had. He became conscious that he no longer sees the world as he did earlier, and he can sense the hypocrisy in people. He recalled many instances in his life when he could have lost his childhood. He wondered if it was the day he ceased to be 11, or he realized that hell and heaven didn't exist in this world and no one could find them in the geography. Next, he talks about the possibility when he realized that adults are not what they seem to be and they are hypocrites. They talk and preach of love, but their actions don't say so. Was it the day when he realized that his mind was his own and capable of producing his own thoughts? No one could own that, and he is an individual with his particular personality. In the last stanza, he talks about the whereabouts of his childhood. He concludes that it had gone to some forgotten place and it can only be found in the innocent face of an infant. Explanation of the poem. When did my childhood go? Was it the day I ceased to be 11? Was it the time I realized that hell and heaven could not be found in geography and therefore could not be? Was that the day? In the above lines, the poet wonders about when his childhood came to an end. He asked himself, was it the day he was no longer 11 years old? Was it the day when he realized that hell and heaven existed and yet could not be found in geography or on the map? He realized they are imaginary places that actually do not exist in this world. When did my childhood go? Was it the time I realized that adults were not all they seemed to be? They talked of love and preached of love, but did not act so lovingly. Was that the day? In the above stanza, the poet again repeats the same question about when did his childhood go. He wonders about the day when he started seeing the world with a new perception, that adults are hypocrites and are not how they seem to be. The adults who talked of love and preached meaning to teach of love, and yet never behaved so lovingly. They are double-faced in reality. Was that the day when his childhood go? When did my childhood go? Was it when I found my mind was really mine, to use whichever way I choose, producing thoughts that were not those of other people, but my own and mine alone? Was that the day? In the third stanza, the poet deliberates on the same question about when he lost his childhood. He asked himself about possibilities. He wonders about the day he realized that his mind was his own and could use it the way he wants. When he realized that he could produce his own thoughts which were not bound by anyone. When he sensed his own individuality and a separate personality. Was that the day he lost his childhood? Where did my childhood go? It went to some forgotten place that's hidden in an infant's face. That's all I know. In the last stanza, the poet remorses about his lost childhood. He concludes that his childhood had gone to some forgotten place, which will never come back. He cherished his innocence, which vanished now, and could be only seen in a baby's face. He only has sweet memories of his childhood, which would soon fade away. He also conveyed a message that the innocence of childhood stays till the time one is an infant, and that is all he knows. Literary devices used in the poem. Rationalism. The poet rationalizes the lost childhood when he was 11, and when he found out that hell and heaven don't exist and are now not found in the geography. The rhyme scheme of the poem is A, B, B, C, C, D. Refrain. What is refrain? A group of phrases which is repeated in the poem. Here in this poem, when did my childhood go? Was that the day? This phrase is again and again repeated in the poem, and this is called refrain. Individuality. In stanza 3, the poet realized that he can use his own mind and can produce his own thoughts. He discovered a sense of individuality in himself. In this poem, the poet has also used the poetic device called antithesis, where two opposite words are used together in a sentence in a poem. For example, hell and heaven. Two opposite words are used here together to give a sense. The next poetic device to use is alliteration, the occurrence of the same letter of sound at the beginning of closely connected words. Here in this poem, the time, my mind, whichever way, thoughts, that. The next poetic device is inversion. When the subject verb order is reversed, that is called inversion. Here in this poem, to use whichever way I choose. Thank you, students. I hope you have understood the poem. For better understanding, read the poem again and again.